Hi, I'm here with Lysha on another RCIRCLE Talks. Lysha, why don't you introduce yourself? Because it's probably the easiest way to do it.
Thank you very much indeed, Martin. I'm Lysha Holmes and I run a business called Qui Recruitment, and we specialise in placing experienced recruitment professionals across the Northwest, Leeds and London. Been doing that since 2005, and Martin and I have known each other for quite a long time, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be here today.
I thought it was longer than that because it's 2005. Because I'm trying to think, I met you, I used to be a rec regional director, and that was at some point I met you there. I used to try and get out and about and pretend I actually was getting out and about, or that even that other people cared. Whereas a bunch of people did sort of care, but then they went, oh, rec, I don't know if I can be bothered. That was a long time ago. I remember sitting having a coffee with you a long time ago.
It might have been pre-Qui Recruitment. It might have been when I was at FIFA Jones. Were we not introduced through Bill Ballman as well? With the
Possibly,
original?
yeah. Bill may have done that, and we went to other people that we sort of half knew. So yeah, it's a long time. God, you're making me feel. I mean, I was only 12 then, so you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I've been doing with people is to talk about life, universe, and everything, and see where we go. So how has the awful pandemic been up for you? Because I know we catch up. You're one of these people that's normally pretty perky, pretty buoyant. You know, you're in recruitment, you're in rec to rec. However, you're pretty pragmatic about it as well. You're a realist, I always think. You know, and for those you know, the one viewer watching, I'm lucky enough to sit opposite Lysha quite often in an office. We work in a very lovely office. Hello, people who work in the office. She's super smart, and I can hear almost the trials, tribulations, highs and lows of what goes on normally. But I haven't done that for a long time. I haven't been in that office since March.
Right.
So I've sort of not missed it. So maybe, yeah, tell us what you've been up to in the last 6 months and how has it been for you?
So, I mean, I'll talk you through, I guess, from that horrendous Monday when the world fell apart. And I don't think anyone had taken COVID that seriously. I think we all thought it was just a problem in China. It had the devastating effects on recruitment, as you would probably assume, in the fact that, you know, as a largely perm-led business, rec to rec fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
And that actually, you know, when I think back to that Monday, it was just this feeling of despair on behalf of my clients. You know, I spent pretty much that whole first day speaking to business owners who we've partnered from, you know, 15 years plus, some of them, you know, maybe the last few years, if there's particularly startups, those that were at a critical stage of, you know, getting to 10, 15 people, literally despairing what we're going to do. The sort of light at the end of the tunnel, I think, was when Rishi announced the furlough scheme. And it just felt then that there was possibly this, as opposed to a tsunami of redundancies, that there might be this lifeline, which it certainly was a lifeline for many, you know, business owners, regardless of whether you're recruitment or not. But then there really was sort of that 3-month period, so March, April, May, of, you know, just being very mindful that most of our clients and business leaders that we've partnered for so long, we're just not going to want to have a rec to rec ringing up saying, have you got any jobs? You know, do you need anything? So
interesting you decided that, because not everybody decided that.
No, I don't.
Because there was a bunch of other people.
You don't need to decide that. As a human being, you know, we're all sharing this experience, which is, you know, and I've worked through, well, at least one recession, because I've been doing my 22nd year. You know, the last recession is the most sort of common sort of comparison, I suppose. And, you know, that's not what a business owner wants to hear. But in this situation, the uniqueness of it has been that it is a global thing. That, you know, you had people who were running businesses, having their kids running around them at home. No one really knew what it was going to look like, that, you know, we're in this pandemic. It's a health problem. It's an economic problem. So I think rec to rec has probably experienced what most other sectors has experienced, in that, you know, this business fell off a cliff. Yeah. The fact that we held on to most of our placements from the start of this year, I see as a massive, you know, I guess achievement, but also respect to those clients that, you know, did back those people. We did sadly lose a couple of placements, which, you know, it was terrible. It was sad. It was expected. You know, the people that unfortunately either they didn't end up starting, or they were made effectively redundant in the end. You know, they were kind about it and gentle about it. For me, you know, I found it that the biggest challenge for me was actually having my daughters at home when schools got shut. I mean, I'm fortunate in the sense that they're teenagers, they're in secondary school, but I think I've been very public in how I've communicated that, certainly on LinkedIn, in that it makes you seem quite vulnerable if you've got you there and you're trying to, you know, I wasn't going to homeschool my teenagers, but supervise and coach and just support them going through, you know, what was effectively their world's sort of tumbling upside down. The fact that you can't see your extended family and friends, you can't go into your office, you know, one of the main reasons we joined, or I certainly joined Workplace, was to be around other people, to feel energy.
Completely. Yeah, because we work on our own a lot of the time. It's nice to have other people around us, isn't it? Absolutely. And the variety of people that come into an office like that as well. So
definitely. I mean, we have gone back, we went back as soon as you were able to, but we have, you know, we've been very, very lucky in that we've got that choice to do that. I mean, you know, our office in particular have been wonderful at ensuring that everything's very COVID secure. You know, we both choose to go in there, and it's nice to see numbers creeping up. So, I mean, the lows that you would expect in Rec2Rec have not been unique to Rec2Rec. I would say they're probably very common across most perm markets, and that now, where as we record this now in October, of course, we've got Tier 3 hanging over Greater Manchester, which Andy Burnham is fighting to keep us in Tier 2.
It's fine for money.
Of course it is. But we now see that the clients that have, you know, as we started to move through the months, and, you know, June became July, and then July there seemed to be a bit of I think we are going to need strategic hires going forward. Who are the soldiers that we've got to take us through this to survive and then thrive? But actually, in Rec2Rec, and actually in any recruitment, you should be there to partner your client in strategic key hires, which is what we've always done. So actually, and one of the things that we did, and it was mainly to keep us busy, was the weekly newsletters. They started, I think, about week 2 of lockdown, because we were just like, oh my God, this is horrendous. This is hell on earth. How the hell are we going to keep? How am I going to keep my brain active? I can't stop. And you're very kind with your intro. I genuinely am a perpetual optimist. That's my mindset. I don't apologize for it. I feel blessed to be like that. But even I was like,
opposite. That's why I like it, because I'm not. I'm the other end. I said we talked about it earlier. I'm a miserable git who likes to. Can
I just say for the audience, I didn't call you a miserable git. You called yourself.
No, I called myself a miserable git, but I just got there before you, so that was all right. Very nice, because you can't call me a miserable git, because you just wouldn't.
I think the newsletter, which we then actually, you know, we ran for about 3 months, and each week it was sharing, you know, great blogs, great webinars. You know, we were trying to shout out people that were inspiring us, sharing Keep Fit. There were no vacancies at all for the first few weeks, and then it'd be, oh, we've actually got a real definite vacancy here. And then before you knew it, we were actually filling 2 or 3 pages just with jobs. And I think that was the point where we thought, right, now we need to go back to focusing all of our energy on that. So there's definitely been, I think, you know, if I look back over the last 7 months, of course, the lows of, you know, anyone that's sort of watched anyone have COVID. I mean, I'm very fortunate that thank God I've not lost anyone to COVID, but I do know of lots of people that have had it. Some literally minor cough, and other people have been really poorly with it. So I'm always very mindful how I sort of position what I'm about to say. But I think for me as a business owner, and for me as a parent, and for me as a human being, my whole premise is that this is an economic risk, and I want to do what I can to ensure I'm adding positivity and a pragmatic approach and a genuine focus on what we can each do as individuals to make our worlds as secure and as safe as possible. And, you know, I always say you can only focus on what you can control and what you can control. And that's what I've tried to do with Qui Recruitment, and with, you know, anyone that we've engaged with for, you know, actually forever, but certainly since March this year, that it's that putting that human approach back into things, and that, you know, you're dealing with somebody that, you know, you're dealing with a business owner that is probably, and actually there's a really good example. She's an MD, we get on brilliantly. I've known her for a couple of years, actually. I think she's got 3 or 4 different sites. She's got 20 odd headcount. She's got 2 kids. Her mum had been ill, and I have with all my clients, that it's either been a little WhatsApp voice note, just checking in, how are you doing, rather than a formal email, give me a call when you're free. And she rang me, she went, you are the only person that ever asks how I am. And I went, really? And she went, yeah, because it's always how the staff, how's the kids, how's that? And I was like, but you're the one kind of bringing it all together. So I think that's sort of a big learn, certainly for myself, that, you know, we are dealing with this as human beings, aren't we? I mean, I think one of the key things for me has been, I've not undervalued my mindset. And I don't think, I mean, it's a nature nurture thing, but, you know, I am very publicly sober, 3.5 years, and it's a blessing now for me, because I think if I wasn't, I would probably be very different in how I've handled this. I believe in fitness. You know, I get up 5 days a week and I set my alarm half an hour early and I do a HIIT, and I'm very careful as to what I eat. I mean, like everyone, I've been hit terribly by the snack cupboard, which, you know, calls my name. Probably hear it now. You know, it's been at least an hour. Well, the thing is, when you're in an office, everyone can see that you're going to the biscuit tin. But when you're
there's that. Are we going again, eh? 19 biscuits today, is it?
Yeah. How many Jaffa cakes has that been? So I think it's just about keeping, and it is about being kind to yourself and putting on your own oxygen mask. You know, whether it's an official mindfulness app that you're following, but taking time every day to rest yourself and get off social media. I mean, I don't really watch the news on TV anyway, because I don't really watch proper TV. I only watch streaming. But I don't go on any news channels. I don't follow any news channels at all. And the only people that I follow on social media, other than business people, are scientists, virologists, professors, etc. So, because I'm not going to suddenly become this sort of scientist and understand, I'm not going to be Karen on Facebook. It's got to be there. So, you know, that it's all, but again, it's all about mindset. It's saying, right, well, I'm just going to focus on what I know and what I can do, and make sure that everyone around me is being safe and following all the guidelines. And actually having that, you know, the other things as well is learning what you're good at, and why people are going to come and trust you. And I think not being afraid to share your vulnerability, and that was one of the key things. And that's really how our YouTube channel started, because I shared a video, and I think I was actually walking up Holcombe Hill. There was no kind of airs and graces, and we've talked before about lights and studios.
Oh God, yeah. It was to the watcher out there. It's low budget, deliberately so.
Well, I like it though. It's real. You know, I'm a Lancashire girl, Manchester girl, because I would definitely want to be in Manchester right now because it's tier 2 rather than tier 3. But I think sharing that vulnerability and talking about how I was feeling, and I mean, it was a very popular post. It had a lot of views, a lot of comments, but actually the private messages I got from business owners saying, thank you for saying what we're too scared to admit and say. And that kind of, it shifted. There was a real paradigm moment. It was probably about Easter, about April time. And that's when I thought, do you know what, maybe people are scared to talk about how they're really feeling, because we've always got to have this persona on social media. And you could see that there was this shift and people were starting to talk about personal stories. So those initial videos then led us to, we started to interview people, and we created a YouTube channel, Qui Recruitment R2R. And we've got, since April, I've interviewed accountants, therapists, a CEO of a sex toy company. We've had the Greg Savage on. We've had marketing specialists. We've had business owners. I know we've just had, but what they've all, the common theme is that they've all talked about what they've done to protect their businesses, themselves, to share, for other people to watch and listen, because we can all plagiarize that. But the common theme has been communication. It's all about what you communicate and how you communicate it. We then created the podcast because you'd obviously been on the key moment from a couple of years ago. We've now relaunched that. Your podcast is still on there. It's called the Recruiters Recruitment.
Somebody listened to it the other day. I know this because they actually rang me up and said, "Oh, I listened to you. You're not talking as much rubbish. We're doing this thing over in with AI." And I'm going, "Oh, really?" It was bizarre, but yes, they heard it. So there you go. It's still out there. People do listen.
And do you know what I do? And like you, I understand that, you know, our audience possibly has a very limited attention span because we're all so busy all the time. And I tend to listen to podcasts when I'm walking the dog. So I can manage 30 minutes, 40 minutes at an absolute push, and then I do get bored. That's just me. So we've had amazing feedback. And what's really, really been incredible is that we've actually had a number of people now ask to come on, which I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Nice, good stuff. Yeah.
I've become the most, I've had this amazing tribe of people around me anyway, but then I've been asked to be part of a ladies group called Women Unleashed, where it's a broad range of business ladies, not just from recruitment. Some are from HR, there's some in there from the legal world, marketing, right across the sphere. And that's been incredible. And we really support each other, and we share ideas, we share, you know, business ideas, but we also share sad stories, you know, where you have a safe space. And I would recommend anyone that if you can become part of some sort of tribe where there's no monetary requirement, it's not about paying to be a member, but it's about sharing your personal journey as well as your professional one. We mentioned the office. I made sure that no matter what, I mean, they obviously shut it for the whole of lockdown, but we were desperate to get back in there. I think we wanted, me and Shannon were the first two to walk back in. In fact, there was no one in there. I think it was possibly the first day back. So, but we've made sure we go in at least once a week, and it's great to see familiar faces. And you know, just to, obviously we can't hug, which I find really hard because I like hugging. But just, you know, and what's interesting is that a lot of people ask me, because we are the barometer of what's happening in the broader sort of employment sector, that I would say that most people have now, I mean, obviously you are now recommended to work from home if you can, but most people are still choosing to go into an office for some of the week to feel that level of connection and to feel, you know, that productivity in some companies, actually productivity's increased since people have worked remotely. But I would say that those are generally probably more mature boutique style businesses than more sizable ones. But look how amazing technology has been. I know we talked off camera about, you know, technology, sort of your technology contacts that you've got, where their business has gone through the roof because we've
some people have done really well because of that. So suddenly everything moved online and they were there in the right place, right moment of time. Yeah, completely.
It's amazing if you know, the innovation that our business, that our sector has embraced. It just makes me so proud to be a recruiter. And I think recruitment actually now is seen as this kind of, you know, I think it's losing its bad image because of how we as a sector have promoted it during lockdown. You know, we are, so many companies are offering free webinars, you know, CV writing, all free, you know, training, outsourcing. These are people that are giving their time. I know loads of business owners that are doing that, you know, just helping people because they're seeing the bigger picture. So there's so many amazing things that have come out of, you know, I think what has been the most testing time I've ever known. So even, you know, this is 10 times worse than the recession was, but in some ways it's better because financial support was made available, but because we're all going through
on that as a business owner, because that's that bit, I guess. So yeah, I agree with you that yes, I went through recession. Recession was painful and difficult. It wasn't instant. That was the difference as well. And I did think that was probably the subtle difference. It was a period of time where all slowly ground to a halt. But I always felt, and I was saying to you earlier on, you know, I used to go around into people's offices. I felt that me physically being somewhere to physically go and talk to them and meet you face to face, at least I had a fighting chance of something. Whereas online, it is a different relationship. Particularly for new clients, for existing clients, it probably makes no difference. In some cases, it is a bit, as you say, it's probably better actually. We do share people's lives. I've seen the inside of 1 trillion people's bedrooms, lounges, kitchens, dining rooms,
their kids, their dogs,
their kids, their dogs, whatever. Yeah, all of the above. Which is all good. Whereas that physicality of whatever I personally struggle with still, that I still can't see a day yet when we are going to get back out there. Let me do the doomy gloomy bit, because that's my specialist subject of being doomy and gloomy.
Okay.
So we live in Manchester. I live in Manchester. I've got an M postcode. So yeah, we're currently tier 2. By the end of the day, we'll be tier 3. So most of the things, whatever the compromise deal is, because tier 3 means different things where you are, doesn't it? Tier 3 Liverpool is different to tier 3 Lancashire. So let's assume we've got a blend of tier 3 Liverpool, Lancashire. Something's definitely going to be closed. We've got Brexit looming in the future as well.
Yep.
And we've got the general consensus that everything's a bit crap, whatever we do.
Yep.
When do you think we'll see a world where, not when we go back to normal, I don't think I even think about that anymore, that for the likes of you and me and whoever's running a business, that we're going to go, actually, we know what we know it's going to be, we're going to have to adjust? Because I feel like we're still in that awkward limbo land of furlough isn't quite what it was, furlough isn't where we are. So we've got almost like a hidden bubble of, we've not hit the economic crap that we probably could still hit. And that ties in really nicely with an expensive time of year at the best of times, and ties in really nicely with a no-deal Brexit and the potential that has a rippling effect. Physically, the doom mongers at with the lorries queued up the M20 as they try and not go through customs into France at painfully slow pace. All the food's trying to come back into the UK. It feels like that we're not quite there yet. That this sort of true winter discontent is still yet to happen upon us. Yeah. But you're the eternal optimist. I see doom and gloom, and you don't see that. You see optimism. Do you think the next 6 months are going to be all right, or do you think it's just going to be that continual sort of up and downy not quite there yet.
I think it's going to be a continuous roller coaster. And as you were saying all that to me, I am human. My anxiety baby just grew, like to the point where I've had to go, calm down,
What would I know?
Deep breath. Of course, I still get anxiety, and I still feel, what everyone else feels. But I just think, well, everything that you've just said, I will literally work through it and then just go, but I can't change what's going to happen with Brexit. I can't change what deal Andy Burnham signs for tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. I can't change that. What I can change is how I react to it and the advice that I give my clients and my candidates. And I think, do I think we're out of this? Absolutely not. Do I think it's going to get worse? Very possibly, because of the things that you've just said. But that's where I think you've got to find a strategy in your own personal life to cope with that stress, whatever that looks like. Ideally something healthy, not sinking yourself into a bottle of wine. And I do genuinely mean that. I think switching off every day. I've started watching Velvet on Netflix. So this is a bit of a, I know it's Spanish. And it's a little bit Rudy Tooty, but no, it's a story of a fashion house in the 1950s. But because it's in Spanish, you cannot watch your phone. You have to watch it to watch subtitles. So it's an hour long an episode. So I know for at least an hour a day, I cannot have my phone in front of me. And do you know what?
That's along the way as well.
Yeah, they're very good looking as well. So I do think it's really important to every single day, no matter who's watching this, whether you're a business owner or whether you're an employee or whether you're self-employed, find something every day to switch off from everything, because it's overwhelming. We've never, as a in living memory, gone through something for such an enduring period of time, and it's not over. I think, to answer your first question, not sort of pigeon fashion with what you said, but I think we're a long way off knowing what the new normal is going to look like. But I think it will eventually, we will all look back on this period. It won't last forever. I will quote Greg Savage here, the sun will shine on recruitment again and all other sectors, but we're the job creation industry. We will have created the most incredible industry. Look at how we've embraced flexible working. That was just something I fought for 15 years, and it was only really ever awarded to parents returning from maternity leave. But now it's available to everybody. So I will focus, me personally, I focus in on the good bits rather than the bad bits. And I think, obviously we've tried to make sure when we knew Brexit was happening after the referendum, we've ensured that our client base, this is just as an example, they have now navigated their business to ensure that when Brexit happens, whether it's deal or no deal, they have still got people to trade with. So I think, that's not a surprise now. We know that it's coming. No one knew that COVID was coming. It did fall off a cliff, but we've all now, hopefully 7-8 months in, made our businesses lean. We've got people in place that we want in our businesses. We might still need other people to get us to the next place, and just be brave and, share ideas, collaborate, join forces with your competitors if you don't cover the same geographical area or the same niche areas. Don't be afraid to go and seek help and go and speak to people. I mean, that's one thing I do want to say, that the focus on mental health now in our sector. I've actually, it's just been announced that I'm one of the champions of the mental health and recruitment movement, which Rhonda D'Ambrosio has been an incredible force. She's innovating how we as a sector view and regard mental health, and that is something that we will look back on and go, that would never have happened if it wasn't for COVID. That we can talk about this, that people are publicly now talking about their struggles with their mental health, because the fact is, to use, it's a rather overworked analogy, but it does work well. We are all in the same storm, but we're all in different boats. And, some people are in yachts, that, recruiters who are in life sciences or who are in logistics or anything to do with the vaccine or anything to do with hand sanitizer, they are doing brilliantly, or public sector. But those who are in hospitality, those who are in retail, they're the ones that are in rafts right now, needing our help. So just, I'm just a huge believer that we just all need to help each other right now. No one's competition. We're all in this together. And even for people like yourself who are, what do you call yourself, a miserable git, you still manage to smile and shows your dimple. And just try and find a reason every day to realise why you are blessed. I write a gratitude diary every day, and I have done since my 40th. And I just think it's, and again, another really easy way to go, I'm going to bed healthy, I'm alive, this is what I'm grateful for. Even if it is literally for watching a Spanish show on Netflix.
Do you know what? I've always been taught to quit while you're ahead. So I'm going to thank you there, because I think that's a brilliant way to end it, that we should all go and watch a Spanish show on Netflix, because it's Velvet, isn't it? You have to go and watch. So for those who haven't got Netflix, go and get Netflix anyway. Lysha, I want to say thank you very much. I've known you for a long time. We'll come back to you, because this is always a great thing. This is the part of the plan that we're doing something now, and then we'll come back to people again and see how things have moved on from here. You are one of the eternal optimists, which is why we love to speak to you, to be honest. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yay.
Do I look a bit dark?